Okay, you got it. Can you hear me? And you have it on mute. There we go.
Can you hear me now?
Yep, I can hear you.
Okay. I'm in my home office and this is my phone. That's why I was asking you to send it to my
I think I just sent it to your email.
Okay, let me see.
And while she's doing that, okay, so today again is March 13th, 2021. Again, the beginning of the show. I believe in 6 degrees of separation. It's been proven over and over again that I know somebody in your circle, vice versa. A new connection has happened. You're one person away, one help away, one advice away from where you need to be. And then I tell you how I know the person that I am currently talking to. Oh, my glasses way on the other side of the room, but it's okay. So Franka, it is going on a whole year that I've known her. June will be a year, actually. She was a part of, or still a part of, Detroit Mass Choir, which is now called the 313 Choir. And she was soprano while I was alto. And I joined at the time where the choir was getting ready for the was it a white concert? No, we was doing some kind of, and the same concert we were getting ready to do a fashion show. It was basically a variety show because they did some rap. We did a skit, and Franka and Stacy did fashion shows.
There I am.
Right. So Franka did her wedding gowns while Stacy did and did some of her clothing. So I got a chance to model some of the clothes with Stacy while some other ones did the model for Franka and her wedding dresses. So, but we're not going to talk about the wedding dresses today. So this is how
I figure out how to stop this other video. Let's see.
So again, this is one of those moments where there's a twofold for the conversation that we're having today. So it's later on, I'm going to have her back on the show. And at that point, she's going to talk about the wedding dresses that she designs and the business that she has. But today we're going to talk about the food portion of Franka. And I believe this is a really, really good time for this conversation because I am in the process of, as they say, the road to recovery of losing weight, beating diabetes, PCOS, and clean eating as a lifestyle, not just fly by moment for a few months and all of that. No. So I'm currently only basically eating seafood, vegetables, and fruit, and lots of water, and the healthy smoothies and all that good stuff. So, Franka, let's go down from the beginning of why we're having this conversation today when it comes to food. Okay, I can't hear you.
Can you hear me now?
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay. Hi, everyone. Thanks for inviting me, Camilla. I've been looking forward to this session this evening, and I'm going to go way back, and then I'll go to what got me to where I am currently. So I grew up in a household that pretty much ate vegetarian, and we did eat meat, but it was always like clean, Leviticus, clean meat, as the Bible tells us to eat. So I grew up eating chicken, beef, lamb, turkey. Those were the meats that we did eat, and like fish, but like clean fish, no scavengers. And when I was in high school, my coach convinced me that I needed to eat even more meat, because meat for us was always like a specialty thing at Thanksgiving or Christmas, or like if we were out shopping with my mom, she would buy us KFC. But for the most part, we ate fruit, vegetables, nuts, grains, beans, things like that. Meat was a rare thing. And like for special occasions like Thanksgiving and Christmas. So fast forward, excuse me, to getting married to my husband in 1991. And he grew up in a family that ate meat all the time. We're both from Caribbean backgrounds, but his family's Jamaican, mine was Trinidad, and all the islands have their like meat dishes that they do. Like in Trinidad, we do a lot of curry chicken and other curried items, and stewed chicken, stuff like that. And in Jamaica, they do oxtails, curry goat, curry lamb, jerk chicken, like all the stuff that you really like to eat if you eat Caribbean food. And as a young child, he decided he wanted to be vegetarian, and he convinced his family to be vegetarian for a year. He swears he thinks his dad like snuck meat when he wasn't looking with the family. But for a year, the family, pretended to be vegetarian. And then after that, they went back to their meat eating. After he and I got married, he was determined to get off of meat completely. And I facilitated that with my cooking. I cooked a lot of, and he went vegan, not just vegetarian. So he wasn't eating cheese, milk, eggs, none of that. And I facilitated that with the way I prepared his food, and he loved it. And his friends would actually come over and eat our food with us because they loved my cooking so much. And they were like, you don't miss meat eating the way you cook. But I still ate meat. I still ate my curry chicken, my curry goat, my lamb and turkey or whatever. So fast forward now to 2016. I'll go back to 2009. In 2009, I became extremely ill one Saturday morning, and I had this like wrenching pain in my abdomen that was causing me to, and I don't mean to be graphic, but literally like projectile vomit. I couldn't keep anything down. I thought I had gas. I was drinking hot tea and it would just come right out. And I ended up going to the hospital after like maybe 2 or 3 hours of just like intense abdominal pain. It turned out I had a bowel obstruction. They had to put tubes down my throat, and it was an ordeal. And after like 3 or 4 days, I got better and went home. That was 2009. In 2016, one morning, I woke up with the same gut-wrenching pain. And for some reason, I didn't remember it. I didn't remember that it was the same thing I had had back in 2009. I just was bewildered, like, what could this be? I went to the ER. They did all kinds of tests on me. They couldn't figure out what it was. They gave me some morphine. The morphine did nothing. I was still in pain. They sent me back home because they couldn't find anything. I was still, in pain 2 hours later. So I went back to the ER again. And this time when I went back, the doctor said, you have a bowel obstruction. So they put tubes down my throat again and got the knots out, by emptying my stomach. And so that was like August 2016. Then like literally a month to the day later, the same pain came back again. And this time I knew exactly what it was. So I went back to the ER and I told them I had this a month ago. I think it's another bowel obstruction. I don't know what I'm doing now. By that time, I had been off meat completely for a month because I had convinced myself that the meat was doing this to me, or that I needed to stay off of meat so that I wouldn't get another bowel obstruction again. So this time when I went back to the ER, I got a doctor and he was like, oh, I'll have you out in 3 days. And I saw that you were here 5 days last time. I'll have you out in 3 days. Well, Lucky for me, I got a second opinion, and that doctor told me, you need to have emergency surgery. Your bowel is rupturing. I can do it tonight or I can do it in the morning. And he said, I have a little boy who's 9 years old, and I promised him that I would come home and tuck him in tonight before he goes to bed. We can take care of this in the morning. You'll be okay, but it's your choice. Do you want to do it tonight or do you want to do it in the morning? And I said, I want to do it tonight. Please tell your little boy I'm sorry.
Right.
you,
Right.
you tuck him in tonight. I was so scared, and my husband was scared. We didn't know what was going on, and I had had other surgeries before, but the way he was conveying what was going on to me, I could tell it was serious. So, long story short, they did the surgery on me. They took out part of my intestine, sewed me back up. The ordeal did not end there. The surgery went fine. It went perfectly well, but I ended up getting a staph infection. And that almost killed me. I was in the hospital for almost 2 months, lost about 24 pounds. I won't go into like the whole ordeal, but it was an ordeal. I almost died because in trying to recover, they were throwing all kinds of different antibiotics at me while they were culturing the staph to see which bacteria it was so that they could give me the correct antibiotic in the right dose. Well, one of the antibiotics that they were giving me, I didn't know it, no one else knew it, but I was allergic to it. And every time they administered it, I would literally feel my heart racing like I was going to die. And finally, I took matters into my own hands, advocated for myself, started asking questions like, what are you giving me? What is that? And every time, and told the nurse, every time you give me that medication, I feel like I'm going to die. So they stopped it. So long story short, after losing all that weight and getting better, I got home. I couldn't eat. I was eating like a little tiny dish of food this big, about that deep. It literally had like maybe 2 tablespoons of food in it. I couldn't eat. And it took probably another month or so for me to start eating like a small saucer of food. And I just determined that my body can't handle meat anymore. I'm not going to eat it. I was afraid to eat it. And I stopped. And so this was 2016, September. Let's fast forward to 2019, July. I went to visit my aunt in Canada, and she didn't know about the ordeal I had gone through or any of that. And she had fixed some corned beef. And I had not had any meat since 2016. So I was thinking, maybe I'm good. I could, have a little bit. So I ate some. It was absolutely delicious. And then about maybe an hour or two later, we were riding around looking for some other stuff while I was up there. And I started to feel that gut wrenching pain again. And I was shocked. Like, I cannot believe I've done this to myself again. And here I go again, drinking hot tea, trying to tell myself, no, it's not that, it's just gas. I was doing everything that I had done before that never worked every time this happened to me. And by the grace of God, my cousin took me to the ER. Now, the funny part of this story is these are cousins I hadn't seen since the 1970s. So I go to visit them for the first time in like 30 something years. And I end up having to go to the ER while I'm there. So we go to the ER, and by the grace of God, like, I had been in pain for about maybe 3.5, 4 hours by this time. The pain started to subside. And I was like, Lord, I will never, ever put another piece of red meat in my mouth ever. I get it. I can't eat it. I can't handle it. It's not good for me. And I just stopped eating it. Mm-hmm. I do eat fish every once in a blue moon, like maybe 4 to 6 times a year. But the rest of it, I don't touch because I just cannot process it. And I found that I feel a lot better when I eat my fruits and my vegetables and my beans and, my quinoa and whatever else, I can find. And there's so many tasty recipes that you can find on the internet or make up yourself. And, I wish I had some pictures I would share with you. I have some nice looking food that I make and people like it. So that's my story. And,
I think where I guess when you I think with where I'm at now, I can do without meat. Like seriously, I do eat a lot of fish, salmon,
Mm-hmm.
those type of fish, and I do eat shrimp,
Mm-hmm.
but not a whole lot.
Yeah.
I do eat mussels,
Mm-hmm.
um, but I have decided that I didn't really care for chicken anyway.
Mm-hmm.
If anything, it would be like hamburgers and stuff, but I can deal without that too.
Right.
And now that I have a husband who works at a vegetable store, is basically we having salad tonight. Okay. I'm bringing you vegetables tonight. Okay.
Okay.
So it's fresh vegetables, not in a can.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Um,
That's the best way
and
to have them.
he comes up with different dishes. Sometimes I post a lot of the salads. It's not regular salads. Sometimes it's the fruit salads. Sometimes it's salads with the nuts and cranberries and
Mm-hmm.
different things like that. So it's
Yeah.
delicious. It's not the same, but I have to change my lifestyle
Mm-hmm.
for health reasons as well as to lose weight.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and as my sister said earlier, she had a gardening class this morning. It's good to know and eat from your own garden
Mm-hmm.
where you know what's on it, what's
Right.
in it.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and it's just a good habit to eat garden food. So that's where I am now. So that's why I said it was very important for me
Mm-hmm.
that you come on and talk about the dangers. Now, like anything else, we have those foods that we are allergic to,
Mm-hmm.
and then there's foods that's just not good. It takes a long time, and beef and pork is one of those foods that take a long time to digest out of our systems.
Mm-hmm.
And so now I'm in the process of also, like I said, clean eating
Mm-hmm.
and getting natural things to help my body get back to its natural way of healing itself.
Mm-hmm. One of the things about meat eating that I've learned in my journey is that when you eat meat or any meat byproducts, and I still eat meat byproducts, I still eat eggs, I still eat cheese. I'm not on the vegan journey yet. I'm praying about that because I know that that is the best way to go for me. But when you eat animal products, it puts your body in a state of acidity. And when your body isn't alkaline, it causes inflammation. Acid causes inflammation. And so that's why we feel like pain in our knees, pain in our back, pain in our hands. That's inflammation. The other thing that causes inflammation that's even worse than eating meat is sugar. And anything you read about sugar, it's another product that puts your body in a state of having acid. And that is a weakness for me. I'm not like a person that likes sweets per se, but I do like my peach cobbler. I do like those Mediterranean desserts like baklava. I love that kind of stuff. I like cheesecake. And so I have to watch myself because even when I eat sugar, if I have a piece of cheesecake one day, nothing happens. But if I have another slice that day, and then maybe another day or so later, another slice, my leg and my hip will just blow up. And I get inflammation and I start feeling like old and stiff,
Sluggish, yeah.
sluggish. Yeah.
Mhm.
And so the meat and the sugar, they both do the same thing. And the thing is,
Wow.
the way that God made fruits, he made fruit in a way that we get that nice, sweet, natural flavor that we need. And so what I've been trying to do too is, first of all, I know I'm going to want something sweet, like around 4 o'clock. So I take a cluster of some nice, juicy grapes with me. It has to be fruit that's sweet, and the seedless ones. And I'll cut up like some fresh mango and I'll put it in a dish and take it with me, because I know at 4 o'clock that my brain is going to start telling me, you need sugar, get something sweet to eat. And I don't want to go for like chocolate chip cookie or even an oatmeal cookie, because it's oatmeal and raisins, but it still has sugar in
Sugar
it.
in it. Mm-hmm.
So, we need to like train ourselves or reprogram ourselves into making the right choices every
Choices.
single time.
Yes.
You know, I was working at an office where there was a Jimmy John's right next door. And I found myself going there like 2-3 days a week, getting either an oatmeal cookie or a chocolate chip cookie. Needless to say, I put on like 6 pounds while I was working there doing that. Well, the Lord knew that I needed to stop doing that. So he moved me to another location, and there's nothing I can walk near to so I could go get cookies or anything like that. So now I'm being forced to bring my grapes with me, but it's all about planning ahead. And,
Yes, absolutely. My husband, so the night before, because I have to be at work at 4 in the morning.
mm-hmm,
So who wants to get up extra early to fix your lunch, to
mm-hmm,
fix, what you're gonna eat for the day that morning?
mm-hmm,
So my husband makes sure that night, whatever we have for dinner, take half of that,
mm-hmm,
take it for lunch the next day,
mm-hmm,
and then put in fruit,
mm-hmm.
um, and make sure I always take like 4 or 5 bottles of water every
Mm-hmm.
day to work. So that what gives me the opportunity to stop going to the vending machine to get pop.
Mm-hmm.
Stop going to the store, spending $15 to $20 at the gas station getting junk food.
Mm-hmm.
Because you have trained your body to think that even though I'm snacking, it's the wrong snack.
Mm-hmm.
So my husband, I was like, I seen something on YouTube, which is again very helpful for those who are trying to clean eat. Celery sticks,
Oh yeah.
carrot sticks.
Mm-hmm.
If you have to put, for those who put peanut butter, for those who do, I tried the cream cheese
Mm-hmm.
with it. Sometimes, of course, it's grapes. Sometimes it's pears, it's peaches, things of that nature to snack on the right food instead of going to the getting chips.
Mm-hmm.
And of course, a lot of people didn't know that a lot of, which was my nemesis, is bread and
Mm-hmm.
noodles.
Mm-hmm.
My favorite dishes was macaroni and cheese,
Yeah.
noodles, ramen noodles, and things of that nature. So it's a mindset that I can't eat like that. I can't,
Yes.
when we go grocery store, shopping for groceries, don't go down this aisle.
Mm-hmm.
You don't want to do that to yourself.
Or find a substitute. Just recently, I found these noodles at Aldi's that are made out of black beans. There's no gluten in them at all, and they're delicious. They have a spinach version, a black bean version. I can't remember what the other version is, and they're really, really tasty. They're low in fat. There's no gluten. There's no carb. Well, the carbs that beans have in it, but not carbs from flour, carbs from beans. And it's really, really tasty. So you just have to find substitutes for whatever you don't want to eat. And you mentioned celery. Celery is a good diuretic, and it's also really good for inflammation. Like when you juice that celery with some spinach and some green apples and throw a little piece of pineapple in there, ooh, your body, when you drink it, just goes, oh, like you just feel all tingly, like you got a vein massage or something. It goes through your veins and you feel it almost immediately.
Immediately, yes. I just did a detox juice last night of boiled pineapples, cut up
Ooh,
pineapples with the skin
boiled.
on them. Hmm.
Okay. Okay.
And then you cut up a half a cucumber,
Mm-hmm.
like three sticks of the celery, ginger,
Mm-hmm.
lemon, and bananas.
Why the skin of the pineapple? There must be some reason
So
why
yeah,
that.
they said that the nutrients from the skin is
Mm-hmm.
what we miss out on.
Oh.
So since you can't eat it,
Mm-hmm.
they said boil it out
Mm-hmm.
instead of putting in your actual blender, like bottled
Oh, just
water.
drink it like a
You
tea.
like strain it, yep, and use that
Oh.
in that and blend it together and
Mm-hmm.
drink it.
Well,
And
I'm gonna
it's
do that with my
supposed to
pineapple
help.
I have.
Yep, and it's supposed to help with getting the toxins out of your body, as
Mm-hmm.
well as helping like with odor, helping
Oh, okay.
your underarms, the carpet, as they say,
Okay. Keep it clean.
getting that to its natural state.
Mm-hmm.
And then there was I was telling my sister another 2-day toxin drink that and this is from Africa.
Okay.
She said mint leaves,
Mm-hmm.
clean off the mint leaves, of course, and she did distilled vinegar and water to make sure that any bugs or anything that you're not ingesting that. So
Mm-hmm.
make sure you clean the mint leaves.
Mm-hmm.
And she did ginger, and if you do a lemon or you can do a lime,
Okay.
and then blend it together and drink it. And those are 2-day
Two
and
days.
it's supposed to help clean it out. So I've been doing a lot of researching of smoothies that is very inexpensive to do.
Mm-hmm.
And of course, any of things on a natural side, I do an oil that has black seed,
Mm-hmm.
black seed, is it turmeric or
Turmeric.
turmeric?
Turmeric is also a good inflammation reducer.
Yes,
Turmeric.
that and I believe ginger and cinnamon
Mm-hmm.
in it, and I put that in water, and I constantly drink. So and I've always apple cider vinegar.
Mm-hmm. That's really good too for
And
weight loss.
so I'm trying to, not trick my body, but like I said, it's a lifestyle of getting my body back into the place of naturally healing itself
Mm-hmm.
without I'm supposed to be on metformin, I'm supposed to be on insulin, but the
Mm-hmm.
devil is a lie. I'm not doing that.
Mm-hmm. Right, right.
So
We can heal ourselves with a lot of things that God has created for us naturally. We just have, and it's so easy to research stuff now. You can Google almost anything. I mean, you
anything.
have to check and recheck because there's a lot of stuff out there that's not fact, fact based, but there's good sources out there where you can find good things to put into your body to heal yourself of all types of diseases.
Yes. And so, like I said, it was very important that we talk about this tonight. And of course, you're going to be back on to talk about the other part of you, which is the wedding dresses.
Yeah.
That this is the time, especially during this pandemic.
Mm-hmm.
My sister, like I said, she's a excellent, successful gardener,
Mm-hmm.
and she has her children into it. She got our other family members into it, and so it's like, okay, now it's time for me to start gardening for myself, as
Mm-hmm.
well as I have, direct access with my husband to bring in fresh fruit, fresh vegetables
Okay.
that most of the time, like I was eating praying yesterday and eating dragon fruit, and they was like, dragon fruit? I'm like, you
Dragon
never
fruit is the
had that?
bomb. It's good.
Yes. So
It's
I was
so
like,
good.
if I hadn't, went to a fruit market, I would have never heard of it,
Mm-hmm.
and I'll try to explain, like, it's in this pink red kind of, shell, and you just
And it
peel it
looks
and
like it has
eat it.
poppy seeds in it.
Yes, poppy seeds. So I take it as, like, if you ever had kiwi,
Mm-hmm.
it tastes and feels like kiwi,
Mm-hmm.
but it's not as sweet as kiwi,
No,
but
no.
it's good for you.
It's so
So it's like
good.
I could just peel it like a banana and just start
Mm-hmm.
and eat
Eating
the
it.
whole thing. So yes, I eat dragon fruit. I eat I've tried bitter melon. Oh,
Mm-hmm.
it's so nasty.
It's so good for you though.
It's so
That is
good, but
that
it's
is
so
like, you have
nasty.
to know how to prepare it, because you can cook it. You can cook it,
Yes.
or you can cut it up and salt it a little bit, and then squeeze the salt water out, and then just stir fry it with a little bit of onion. It's still gonna be bitter, but it's so good. I love it. I
Yeah.
love it.
I had to
I
get
had
the.
to
You're gonna
learn
have
to
to
like
help
it
me.
though. I had
You're
to
gonna
learn
have to
to.
help me.
Yeah.
Because that bitter melon is supposed to be one of the also something that's good for diabetes.
Yes. Yes.
And I'm like, my husband's like, well, I know it's nasty, but it's good for you. And I'm like, it's nasty.
Maybe, you know what? You're making me think. The next time I go to Randazzo's, have you ever been to Randazzo's?
That's where he works at.
Oh, okay. So yeah, you got all the access to the good stuff. So the next time I go there, I'm gonna grab some bitter melon and juice it with some apples and see if
If it helps.
if yeah, because apple juice tends to cut a lot of bitterness out, because I like to juice kale and mustard and spinach together, and that mustard, it gets bitter and it has a kind of a peppery bite
Mm-hmm.
to it sometimes
Yes.
when it's fresh. So if I throw a little apple in there, it seems to neutralize that bitter taste. So maybe that might help the bitter melon. I don't know. I'm thinking that I'm gonna have to try to make up a
Yeah,
recipe
please
for you.
try because it's good for you, but
Mm-hmm.
again, and I still another lifestyle like a lot of the beans are good
Mm-hmm.
for you,
Mm-hmm.
but I was a person that didn't like textured food, like the
Really?
mushy, like ugh. So I
Okay.
don't like beans
Okay.
and I didn't like peas,
Mm-hmm.
disgusting, lima beans, ugh. So a lot of the stuff that's
Do
supposed to
you
be
like
good for me,
soup? Do you like
huh?
soup? Do you like soup?
Yes.
Well, a lot of beans are in soup. Maybe if you like
And I just,
puree it
put
all
it
the
to the
way
side.
down.
Mm-mm.
No. Wow.
I tried, I have to ask, like when people make chili, like, do
Mm-hmm.
you do it with beans? If so, I'm not eating it, or I'm gonna have to take
Really?
the beans out. But again, this has to be a lifestyle
To
change,
retrain
even in my,
yourself.
yeah, in my mind, because again, a lot of the foods that I need to have for protein purposes,
Mm-hmm.
if I'm not eating a lot of meat, I have to get in that lifestyle of
Yeah.
eating
I
something
want
that's
to
not
invite you over for some of my vegetarian chili. I have turned people around. I'm gonna tell you. We had a chili. This is when we lived in Minnesota. We had a chili night. I made chili and cornbread. I made a beef and turkey version. I mixed it, and because there were meat eaters there, and I made a vegetarian version that had like vegetarian meat and beans in it. The vegetarian one went first. Everybody was going after that one. They liked it more than the meat one that they're used to. I don't know why. I put the same ingredients in both. So just, I'm gonna let you try some.
Yeah, like I said, it's just a concept that
Mhm,
for years, that's where I
mhm,
was like, no beans, I'm not eating it.
mhm,
A lot of the peas and things of that nature, I
mhm.
was like,
No, they're so delicious.
oh, my husband is trying to call me. Sorry.
That's okay. Go ahead.
I'm sure he's gonna try to call me again. Okay, hopefully he got the message. But yeah, I had to change the whole idea of how to what I need to eat. And then another thing I didn't do before was eating more,
Okay.
the breakfast, lunch, dinner, and then
Mhm,
snacks. I
mhm.
was going hours without eating.
Now, I'm not, I haven't gotten there yet. I need to eat more meals. And that's one weakness, because I don't like eating really early in the morning. My stomach just isn't ready. to eat early in the morning. So a lot of times I don't eat till 12 o'clock in the middle of the day, and then I have dinner. I may have a snack or something small in the morning, like a piece of fruit and maybe a piece of fruit in between dinner and lunch, but I don't eat like a breakfast. And they say that breakfast is supposed to be your biggest meal of the day, but I don't know. I think sometimes people are just different. Like my stomach is not ready for all that food in the morning, every morning. Yeah. I would get kind of,
I'm up so early
mm-hmm.
that in my brain it's like it's too early to eat.
Right.
Um, I have to be at work at 4 o'clock in the morning.
Mm-hmm.
Who's eating a whole breakfast at 4 o'clock in the morning?
Yeah.
Nobody that I know of. So I don't end up eating till sometimes 8 o'clock.
Mm-hmm.
Once everything is kind of calmed down at work, and then I'll eat, and then I'll try to eat again like at 1 when I
Mm-hmm.
only have like an hour left at work. Then I don't eat again till late that evening, like if 8, 9 o'clock at night, which
Mm-hmm.
most people be like after 6 you shouldn't be eating.
Mm-hmm.
But you know how my schedule is with my husband,
Right.
we don't have no choice to eat late, and he does not like eating dinner by himself.
Mm-hmm. Well, if
So
you're doing salads, that shouldn't be like, a deal
right, it's
breaker.
nothing
Yeah.
heavy.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But again, we don't eat till 8:30, 9 o'clock sometimes, depending on what time he gets off. So again, it's what's best for you.
Mm-hmm.
What we're talking about is not deemed as, oh, if you don't eat like this, the world is
Right.
against
No.
you. No, it's where you are. Some
Mm-hmm.
people just love meat. That's
Mm-hmm.
them. Um, a lot of people that I know have to have a meat when they eat, period.
Right. Right.
That's not me. That's never been me. But
Right.
I am realizing more that I could really do without meat. It's okay. I'm like, he'll put it on the plate and be like, you know what? I'm not gonna eat that. I'll just eat the sides or something, and that I'm okay.
Right.
And so now
And
that
it's
I'm
funny
in
that
that,
we call them the sides, but God intended for them to be the main.
main, yeah,
Like, meat eating, and I don't know, I'm kind of getting a little biblical here, but meat eating never really was part of man's diet until after the flood, after there was no vegetation on the earth for man to eat, and they had to eat animals,
yeah, mm-hmm.
kill animals and eat them. So we were meant to be herbivores. If you look at our teeth compared to animals that eat plants, they're similar.
Yes,
Animals that eat other animals, they have long, jagged,
long and
pointy teeth.
fangs to tear them.
Right. We
Yeah,
don't we don't even have the right equipment to eat meat the right way and tear it apart and stuff like that. So I'm not saying that when I ate it, I didn't enjoy it. I enjoyed me a piece of oxtail. It was delicious, but
mm-hmm.
it's just not, I can't process it anymore. And it was kind of decided for me
Yeah,
that your body can't take this anymore. It's not going to go through, and you can't keep, every time something happens, cut out a
a
piece.
part of you. Yeah,
Right. We only have 20 feet of it. So,
right.
we're not going to keep doing that. So I had to make adjustments.
Yeah, and that's a good way. Sometimes it's the like, why did I have to punish myself this way? But luckily, for you, it wasn't unto death. For somebody else who might not have paid attention to their body,
Mm-hmm.
like if you go a long time without eating ribs and
Mm-hmm.
you try to get it and eat it, and you realize, why do I
Oh
have
my
this
God, I'm
major
so sick.
headache?
Mm-hmm.
Is because you ate something that your body's not used to anymore.
And that headache
Don't,
is
yes,
inflammation.
yes,
That's inflammation. That's your body going into that acidic state from being alkaline, from not having that meat in you, all along. Gout and all of those things that people get when, they've eaten a lot of meat, that's all your body is responding. It's trying to
yeah.
fight off the disease, and it's causing inflammation.
That, and they ate a whole bunch of like you said, acidic food like tomatoes,
Mhm.
ketchup, all of those things, and they're not catching it, then it crystallizes, and then you get the bumps on your hands. You can't move them.
Mhm.
All the like, yeah.
Well, the acid in tomatoes is it's different than the acid in eating flesh. And I'm not a scientist, so I can't explain it the way it's been explained to me, but it's a little bit different. But some people are allergic to tomatoes and other fruit and stuff like that. I know, like, there was a time I couldn't eat pineapple because it made my mouth itch, but I ate it anyway because I liked it. And eventually that allergy just kind of went away. So,
Yes, shocking because I just had a allergy test not so long ago, and it came back that I was allergic to all this stuff that I eat. And I'm
mhm,
like, peanuts. You know
mhm,
how long I've been eating peanuts and
mhm.
chocolate candies and stuff? Never had a reaction or anything like that. I said, your test is wrong. And they said, well, sometimes, they said I was allergic to grass. I said, you know how long I've been in.
Right. I think sometimes it's not even so much the foods, but the things that they spray the foods with,
Okay.
you know? Um, there's so much stuff, like your sister was saying, it's better for you to grow your own stuff. That way you know exactly what's on it, the soil that it went into, you know.
I'm glad you brought that up. So her conversation today, see, this is why this all goes together. So today we learned about the importance of butterflies and bees
Mm-hmm.
and what she sprays on her in her garden and
Mm-hmm.
around to make sure that the bees and the butterflies are around, which helps them germinate.
Mm-hmm.
You won't be able to grow anything if they're not around.
Right.
It was like, really? It's
Mm-hmm.
like, yeah. So this is why it's important to have local beehives
Mm-hmm.
to harvest bees, and why it's important when you get your raw honey and all of that stuff from local bees, help your immune system and all this. I'm like,
Mm-hmm.
I am learning so much just from gardening,
Right.
that helps you with your food. And
Mm-hmm.
so even with planting certain flowers around your or in your garden
Mm-hmm.
helps. And I'm like, I did not
You need
know.
to attract the bees to come to your garden so they
Yes.
can pollinate. Yeah, I've heard of that.
Yes. So it this whole conversation today helps out with those when it comes to food. It's
Mhm,
very important, as we heard the cliche, as I say, you are what you eat.
mhm,
And so now when you see me, it's gonna be vegetables. You're
mhm,
not gonna see, McDonald's, you're not gonna see Wendy's. And I said a long time ago, I should have had stock in Wendy's as much as I used to eat it.
mhm,
And there's a Wendy's right up the street. So when I decided to stop eating it and I tried to go back to it, it literally made me sick.
mhm.
And so I was like, oh, I'm over this now. Okay. So now it's like your body is craving the right things
Mhm.
versus fast food.
And remember I told you that the first episode I ever had was in 2009.
Hmm.
Well, prior to that episode where I ended up in the hospital, there was a time where I would stop and I would get hamburgers at Burger King. And it was just something I would do occasionally. But every time I ate it, I wouldn't even reach to where I was going. It would come up.
Hmm.
And that happened for like a good 2 years before the 2009 episode.
Mm.
So, like, the Lord was trying to warn me, like,
Warn you. Hmm.
stop eating this. This is not helping you anymore. It's hurting you. But I would just tell myself, maybe it's just been a long time since I had it. Maybe I should just eat it more often, so that my body would get used to it. And it would literally just not stay down. It would
Stay down.
come up.
Yeah. Mm.
And that happened to me maybe 5 or 6 times. And then I just finally gave it up. I thought it was my acid reflux or something like that. I think God was trying to tell me, you cannot process this. Keep
Hmm.
it out of your system. And I didn't listen. So he had to show me.
Hmm. That was the same thing even with McDonald's. Like
Hmm.
after I would eat McDonald's, I would have a bad case of gas. or I had to go to the bathroom. Like, well, what is it? Well, maybe they just didn't, change the grease. So, you start making up all of these excuses versus just saying you cannot eat it. You just can't.
We had a nutritionist come to our church once and tell us about an experiment that they had done with fast food. And I'm just saying fast food in general because I don't I don't want McDonald's to get mad at me and say I'm saying bad things about their food. But she took a hamburger, a fry, and fries and had it just kind of like on a table in a room for over a year. Now, what happens when you leave food out?
It spoils.
Right. It didn't spoil. The fries and the hamburger did not spoil. They got dusty, but they didn't rot. They didn't rot.
What?
So what does that tell you?
That ain't no regular meat or potatoes.
Or it has a whole ton of some kind of preservative or something in it, because real food spoils. It gets rotten. It smells. It gets.
So that goes to say,
Why don't you try it? Just buy a burger and fries and see what happens. Because
so that just goes to
she told
say,
us about this
if it's
experiment.
not breaking down over a year, so it's definitely not breaking down
Breaking
in your
down in your
stomach.
body. Exactly. I would actually like to actually buy one and just leave it and see what happens myself, because I was told about this experiment. I didn't see it for myself, but that's what I was told. I believe her. She's a nutritionist.
That's scary.
I don't think she would have any reason to lie to us, but it makes me, every time I think about it, I want to buy one and just kind of leave it and see what happens to it.
That's scary. It makes you think.
Yeah,
And I was told they did an experiment with the certain salts that they put on the fries, where it cuts your tongue to the point where you crave it. Or even the smell taste.
It does something to your brain where it triggers something in your brain that you keep wanting to.
Yep. And like you can be in an area, you can literally smell the difference of McDonald's fries versus somebody else's. Like you could be driving down French Road and it's a McDonald's over there. And you be like, that smell like, oh, it's McDonald's over here. So it's all the trickery.
Yeah, those olfactory triggers.
So you have to retrain yourself. And that's basically what I wanted to leave the people with. Like, you only have one body. And it took us a long time to mess it up. So now you're going to have to do that to change how you eat, change how you take care of your body. Like if those who smoke, those who put, toxins in your body, and what alcohol does to your body, what cigarettes do to your body, sugar, with all of these bad effects that happens to your body. And especially when you already have underlying health issues that were passed on to you hereditarily, that you have to be a caution and know your history. So with that being said, I had grandmas on both sides of my family who were diabetics, who eventually got cut on, or you know what I'm saying? So with that being said, listen, I don't care if you skinny, don't care if you overweight, diabetes don't care. Any other infliction or disease in your body does not care where you come from, how old you are. It does not matter. Now that supposedly you diagnosed with this doesn't mean it's unto death. So now that you know this is a way, an area for you to pray against is also a way, again, to take care of your temple. Just because it entered does not mean it has to stay. And so I have told them the other day, I am on my recovery, the road to recovery. What you see today will not be the same tomorrow.
I want to say that you look gorgeous.
Thank you.
I remember when I met you a year ago in Detroit, Mass. You look very different now than you did then. You're glowing and you look happy, and I'm so glad to see that. Yeah.
I'm thank you so much, because I am. It's the truth.
Good.
It's night and day. When I first met you, I was getting ready to be divorced. And it was one of those moments as I was moving, difficult to breathe, trying to figure my way out of, now I'm on a whole different, I'm by myself. These different things, how I was going to make it, when you have been brainwashed to think that the world's going to end when this ends.
And then, yeah.
And that wasn't so. And so I told, I think I had Julia on here, I had my Hanson on here, and it was just like, you guys were the family I needed at the time, to really understand that God is still with me. He hasn't left me. And when he brought my current husband, it was like, I'm back to Eden now. I am, back to myself. Like I said, this is a road to recovery. I was already happy, but when God brought the right rib cage.
Yeah, there you go.
I was very excited. I was very happy. I still am. And there's no, perfect relationship, but there's things that you had to learn we had to learn in the last go round, that this time it's gonna last forever, until the Lord says so. So I'm very excited is not even the word.
That's awesome. I noticed the difference, and I just wanted to congratulate you. If you invite me on again to talk about food, I know we're going to talk about my dresses next time, but I would love to do some like juicing recipes with your audience, or even like pre-prep something vegetarian to show them how to fix it. Like maybe I could do some like curried garbanzos and like chickpeas and potatoes or something like that with rice, just to show them that food can be flavorful and it doesn't have to have animal products in it. It could be just plant-based and really delicious.
Let's when was you supposed to come back on again?
I don't remember. I think April, because I was supposed to come on in February, and that was like Valentine's weekend, and my husband and some of our friends got together and the men cooked dinner for us. You should see the salad my husband made. He threw down that day on the salad. I was like, wait a minute, did you make that or did you copy something?
So we have to do an evening show again, right?
Yeah.
So we would have to first week. We can do April 17th or April the 10th.
April 10th is tough because actually, maybe no, it's not. I have a show the next morning on my birthday. Maybe I could do April 10th.
So
let's schedule it, because then I could talk about the show that's coming up the next day and invite people out. Yeah, I think that would be good.
Okay, so we're gonna do April 10th at 7 p.m.
Okay, sounds good.
And of course, the closer to it, then I'll email you.
Okay.
The the link again for Zoom.
Okay.
So I have you down for the 10th of April at 7 p.m. Let me put it on here. So we'll talk about that, or you can do the show on the wedding. It's up to you.
I'll do the wedding stuff just because I have a bridal show the next day in
Okay.
Dearborn, and so it'll be nice to, introduce your audience to some of my pieces and invite them out to the show the next morning.
Okay, so we'll do that, or you can split it up half and half, where we can do half of it, the wedding and wedding dresses, and then half of the food. So
Okay.
that's up to you, or you want a whole nother show again? It's up to you.
Let's do the wedding next time.
Okay.
Next time, yeah. And then that'll give me enough time to prep, get because it might be a lot for me to try to be prepping juice stuff and then prepping for the show and all of that in the same weekend.
All right, so let's schedule. I'll put on here wedding. Let's schedule. You want to still do a show in April for the food, or you want to wait till May?
Let's wait till May. Let's do May.
All right, let me. So currently, I don't have any shows in May yet.
Okay.
I'm almost done with April. So, let's see. May 1st is the first Saturday in May.
Okay.
We can do that evening.
That works.
7 o'clock.
Yep.
7 p.m. Franka. And I'll make sure I put down here food. Okay. I got you down. May 1st. 7 p.m. Franka food. All righty. I got you down in the book.
All righty. It's been fun hanging out with you. And it's so
yes. I am so,
even if it's virtual.
Yeah, I was so glad. And this is a lot easier, even if we don't have to be in person.
Right.
Even when the world opens back up, I'm still probably going to be doing Zoom calls. Okay. It's a lot easier, and a lot of people have more acceptable to actually doing this versus being in person.
Right.
So again, thank you for stopping by. We had a good conversation. Like I said, this whole day has been really dedicated to food.
Yeah. Healthy food.
Healthy, good food.
Yeah.
So I'm excited. And off camera, you could try the bitter melon with the apple and tell me how that goes.
I definitely will. As a matter of fact, I think I'm gonna get my husband. Let's take a Randazzo run. I need to make up a new recipe and see how it works.
Yes, please do.
Okay, and then maybe I can introduce it on the show next time.
Okay.
In May.
Okay.
Thanks, Camilla. It was so much fun. Bye, everyone.
You're welcome. See you later.
Bye.
All right.